Hello, my friends. I'm going to share a little bit with you this morning. I was listening to Christian music for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours while I was wrapping up my salsa canning, which it's not totally wrapped up yet, but the salsa is finished. I tried to go to bed, I think around 2 o'clock this morning, and I couldn't. And so I got back up and did some more and went to bed at 4 o'clock. And then I woke up at 6:20 or something like that. It's finished. And I've got a lot of salsa. Goodness gracious, y'all. I don't remember how much that big stock pot holds that I was using, that stainless steel stock pot. I know it's over 4 gallons, but I can't remember exactly how much, 4.5, 5 gallons, something like that. And it's that far from the top. It is heavy. I could barely lift it to put it in the fridge last night. It was so heavy. I've got 20 pint jars sterilized. I don't know how many I'm going to need because I don't know. I don't remember the size of that stock pot that the salsa's in. I hope 20 is enough. If not, I'll have to stop and sterilize some more after a while. But as soon as I finish this video, I'm going to start doing the canning part of it. But over at Facebook, I saw a meme that I liked, and I saved it. There's no writing, just a picture. And so I'm making up my own story to go with that picture. But since I'm doing a video here, I can't use that meme that I saved. So I'll make a post at my community page using that meme, telling people that goes to my community page to come listen to this video. The text for this video is 1 Samuel chapter 17, and I am going to start reading in verse 19 and go through the end of that chapter, which is 58 verses. So you got a little bit of listening to do here, but I think you're going to like this. It's a story that probably everyone is familiar with. You've probably been familiar with it since your youth. I know I have. But I'm just going to point out some stuff that you probably never thought of before. Y'all are smart. I'm sure you thought about it, but I'm going to point it out anyway. Now Saul and they and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah fighting with the Philistines. And the Philistines is where the Palestinians came from. They were a problem way back here in Samuel's time, and they're still a problem today. And my bald head is freezing, y'all, and I don't have a stocking hat nearby. When I was working over by the stove, the stove was on and it was nice and warm in here. Now I'm cold. I don't even see a stocking hat. I got my hoodie. There, that helps a lot. I'll leave this open so the microphone will work for you. Okay, let me start over here without interruptions. Now Saul and they and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah fighting with the Philistines, or Palestinians as we know them today. And David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep with a keeper and took and went as Jesse had commanded him, and he came to the trench as the host was going forth to the fight, and shouted for the battle. For Israel and the Philistines or Palestinians had put the battle in array, army against army. And David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper of the carriage and ran into the army and came and saluted his brethren. And as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words, and David heard them. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him, and were sore afraid. And the men of Israel said, Have you seen this man that has come up? Surely to defy Israel is he come up, and it shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, What shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God? And the people answered him after this manner, saying, So shall it be done to the man that killeth him. And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men. And Eliab's anger was kindled against David, and he said, Why camest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thine heart, for thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle. And David said, What have I done now? Is there not a cause? And he turned from him toward another, and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. And David said to Saul, Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine. And Saul said to David, Thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. And David said unto Saul, Thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard, and smote him, and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he hath defied the armies of the living God. David said, moreover, The Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, Go, and the Lord be with thee. David was just a little boy. He had never fought in an army before. He wasn't even strong enough to carry a sword. But he had faith in God. What did his brother say? His brother said, I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thine heart. That's up in verse 28 I read already. His brother said, I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thine heart. What did God say about David? He said, this man is a man after my own heart. David messed up a lot in his life, but God loved him, and David served the Lord. He knew the Lord, and he had very much faith in the Lord. Now, continuing down here in verse 38, and Saul armed David with his armor, and he put a helmet of brass upon his head, and he armed him with a coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. And David put them off him. And he took his staff in his hand, and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook, and put them in a shepherd's bag which he had, even in a scrip, and his sling was in his hand. And he drew near to the Philistine. And the Philistine came on and drew near unto David, and the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth, and ruddy, and of a fair countenance. And the Philistine said unto David, Am I a dog, that thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistine said to David, Come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air, and to the beasts of the field. Then said David to the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield. But I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee, and take thine head from thee. And I will give the carcass of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God. I'm going to stop it there. That's some powerful stuff, y'all. That is faith in God being exercised to the max. The rest of that story just tells how the story ended, and you know how it ends. David killed a giant. Just like he said, he did it in the name of the Lord to protect Israel. It was his faith that did it. Everybody else was afraid because Goliath was a giant. Some people say that he, calculating his height and into inches or feet, he was 10 feet tall. That's a big dude. David was a little boy. He wasn't afraid of him because he knew God would fight his fight for him and for Israel. And he did. And they won. They succeeded. They were victorious. And that is exactly what's going to happen at the War of Armageddon. God is going to fight that fight with his spoken word. And he's going to win. The armies that comes against Israel will be defeated, just as Goliath was defeated. And that was an army coming after Israel, the Philistines. That's that, y'all. That's just a plain, simple little story right straight from God's holy word. Put your faith in God. And y'all go to my community page. I've shared some music there that I think is beautiful. It had me singing all morning. Y'all don't want to hear me sing. But I think God likes it. I hope he does anyway. I enjoyed singing. And I've got some pictures I'm going to put up there also, some scriptures and so forth also. And I'll be back. I don't know when I'll be back. I'm going to do the home canning now. It's ready. I'm tired. I am so tired. I know y'all get tired of me saying that. Oh, and I got a Christmas card yesterday from one of y'all, one of my YouTube viewers, and it was beautiful. Darlene, thank you very much. That was precious. And I love the message inside. Y'all are just really, really awesome people. I love y'all a lot. Y'all are my family. I didn't send out any Christmas cards this year. When I came back from England in 2000, I started sending out Christmas cards. And I sent them out for 22 years. I didn't send any out last year, and I'm not sending any out this year. It just got to be too much of a hassle. And I had a long list of people I was sending them to. I was sending out over 100 every year. That's too many. And if I whittled it down to 25 or 30, $70 or $75 people would have their feelings hurt because they didn't get one and other people did. So I'm just not doing them anymore. But y'all are in my prayers all the time, and I think about you a lot, and it's always good, happy thoughts. Kitty Callie wanted to get on the video, looks like. She was looking right at y'all. Now she's washing her face. That's it, y'all. God bless you, my friends.